Hi VC, it's Rob here with another video, and this video is a contest entry for Chris Propfe, who's reached 200 subscribers, but he's well over that now. Seen a lot of people jumping in on Chris's contest, some really good questions. Chris has been on the VC since about June last year, and he's uploaded over 160 videos, so I'm sure most people watching this video are aware of Chris Propfe. So his contest's got some pretty good questions, so I thought I'd jump in and support his channel. So the first question, he's asking us to talk about our first musical memories. So I think my first musical memory is Dale, Dale, daylight come and I wanna go home. I can remember that song when I was a kid, but I wasn't aware that Harry Belafonte did it. It's only last night when I checked up, did a bit of research, and I can remember that song when I was a kid. I loved it. Another song I loved when I was a kid was Three Wheels on My Wagon, and I was on YouTube last night reminiscing about that song, so that's another one that I really liked. When I was about 4, I was obsessed with the Monkees. They must have been showing the show on UK TV at that time in the late 60s, and yeah, I was obsessed with the start of the programme. They're running around and, you know, driving that car. Yeah, I love the Monkees. But I think the first actual music that I really took notice of was the Beatles and a song called Penny Lane. Yeah, the Beatles, they get everywhere, don't they? So I can remember in 2013 I went to Liverpool with my girlfriend, who's a big Beatles fan, and we did the Beatles tour and on the Magical Mystery Tour. Went outside Paul's house, John's, Ringo and George's, and we went down Penny Lane, and I mean, Penny Lane's my favourite Beatles song. It's such a simple song, but it's just timeless. And when we were driving down there, you could just sort of see some of the things that are actually in the song. Quite a moving experience. I mean, Liverpool's fully geared up to, you know, the Beatles are Liverpool. You know, without the Beatles, you know, Liverpool would be a bit of a wasteland. So, you know, Liverpool's got a lot to thank the Beatles for. I'm from Manchester, so there's no love lost between Manchester and Liverpool. You know, we call them Scousers, and yeah, when you know, what people from Liverpool kind of they don't like Mancunians either, so there's a little bit of friction. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, when I was a kid, I can remember Penny Lane. And it's a song I've always loved. I still love it now. Well, like I say, my favourite Beatles song. Now, the second question is about karaoke, and if you follow Chris's channel, you'll be aware what a good singer he is. I was watching some of his singing just recently. The Gordon Lightfoot song, If You Could Read My Mind, just a great version of that. And his song, there's quite a lot of songs that he's done videos for. I think that's how he actually started his channel. He just uploaded a couple of songs, and then he just grew and grew and grew, sharing his collection, and he's got a lot of enthusiasm for the VC. He's, you know, a great member of the VC. So I think he wants to know whether we can sing. So I do karaoke. When I go out with my friends, a couple, you know, once every 2-3 months, we go down Manchester. There's a certain bar we go in, which is it's not the sort of establishment that you go on a date or take your girlfriend, really. It's a bit rough around the edges, but they do karaoke in there, and I'm the only one out of my friends who will do karaoke. Now, the song that I sing on, I tend to sing the same song all the time. I can sing other songs, but you sort of go back to your sort of safety blanket of the song that you think you can do a half decent job of. But the song that I sing is by a group that on the VC I've you know, I've openly said that I can't stand. So it's a little bit embarrassing that I sing a song by Queen. So the song that I sing is Crazy Little Thing Called Love. I must have sung it about 20 times now. Of course, I think I do a better job than Freddie Mercury. You know, I've never had anyone sort of booing, but then again, I've never asked anyone, no one's ever sort of said they wanted an encore. So yeah, they sort of put up with it, and maybe a couple of cheers at the end, mainly by my friends. So yeah, my karaoke song is Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen. Now, the third question is about 3 Desert Island discs. So I've been through my collection. Sort of my take on this is I'd want to take records that I'm not all that familiar with, because, you know, I mean, there's lots of albums, Almost Cons by the Jam, Steve McQueen, Prefab Sprout, Colours of Spring, Talk, Rattlesnakes, Lloyd Cole. But I know those albums off by heart, and I want to take albums that I'm not really that familiar with. If I'm stuck on a desert island, I want to sort of learn about an album and grow into it and hopefully love it and love it. Now, so the first album I've chosen is from last year, and it's this one, I'm Easy to Find by The National. Now, I've seen The National a couple of times. Saw them last year in Manchester, and it was an open air gig, and I wasn't familiar with this album, and it wasn't the best gig in my, you know, because I wasn't that familiar with this album, and the first half of the gig was more or less all this album. There's a sort of guest vocalist on it, and I wasn't really feeling it. As the night sort of drew in and the rain started, you know, the gig livened up a bit. And when I did my top 10 albums from 2019, I did have this in, but I think I had it at number 7. If I had it again now, it moved up a little bit. It's still growing on me. The more I listen to it, the more I'm getting into it. But when you're buying so much new vinyl, getting into new music all the time, buying old vinyl, discovering new artists, the records that you have in your collection can fall by the wayside, but I make a big effort to sort of bond with records. And just because I bought a record and played it once, you know, that's not the end of the story. I want to really get into music and get into the stuff I buy, just like I used to do when I was 16. I was in my bedroom on a rainy night in Oldham, with not much to do, and listening to Teardrop Explodes. So that's what I tend to do now, really try and bond with music. And the more I listen to this album, the more I love it. And if I was going to be stuck on a desert island, I want to be stuck on it with this album. So yeah, this album by The National, I'm Easy to Find, is the first one. Now, the second album I'm going to show is Sandinista by The Clash. It's a triple album, so this has got 36 tracks on it, so I've got plenty of tracks to listen to on my desert island. Again, this is an album that I've played in its entirety, not many times, but every time I do sort of dip into it, I always think I need to play this more. But you know, how much time do you have to play a triple album? But if I was going to be grabbing 3 records to take and listen to and get into, Sandinista by The Clash will be one of them. I'm just going to have a drink because I'm suffering with a sore throat, so it's nothing serious, but just a bit of water there. Now, third album is an album that I got last week from a record fair. It's a really famous album, but it's an album that I've actually never heard. I've never heard a track from this album, but I'm taking it on my desert island with me. It's an album that a lot of people on the VC have got. I'm not embarrassed that I never had it. It's just an album that in the past never really appealed to me, but people talk about it on the VC and it had an anniversary, and I thought and there's a lot of bands on this album that over the last 12 months I've sort of started to get into. So it's Woodstock. So yeah, I picked this up last week. Got quite a good deal on it. Again, it's a triple album, so I know we all know 99% of people watching this video know about Woodstock. This is it's a first pressing of it. So yeah, I mean, I saw it there. It's one of those albums that I felt like I needed to have in my collection. And if I was, you know, if something happened to me now and I had to sort of be in isolation, I'd take this with me because I want to get into it. Again, it's a triple album, so, you know, like I said, I've never even heard any tracks off this album. We've got Jefferson Airplane, Canned Heat, Crosby, Stills and Nash. You know, it's got Jimi Hendrix on here, so that's a first for me. I don't have any Jimi Hendrix in any form, so I do now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this a spin. No, it was the 50th anniversary last year. A lot of pomp and ceremony about it, you know, but Summer of Love and all that. But yeah, looking forward to giving this a spin and seeing what I think of it. But I thought I'd show this because it's coming on the desert island with me. So yeah, the Woodstock album. Now, the fourth question was about album covers and, you know, which album cover could you stare at for hours? So it's quite an easy one for me. So it's that one. So it's Grace Lightman. And the album's called Silver Eater. And if you watch my top 10 records from 2019, I had this as number 2. And it's a concept album about an alien falling in love with the human race. And I've kind of fallen in love with Grace Lightman. But I do have a little sort of story about Grace Lightman. So follow each other on Instagram. And, well, I follow her. And I've sent her a message. Piccadilly Records shop in Manchester had her album in the top 100, so I messaged her and told her, and then she sort of gave me a little bit of a shout out on live feed, which goes up for 24 hours, and then she put something else, and I sort of said that I messaged her and said that she was number 2 on my YouTube channel, Best Records of 2019. So she said she was going to watch it. So she watched it, and then on her live feed, she gave me quite a big promotion for 24 hours. You know, telling people about my channel. So yeah, hopefully she'll be doing a tour this year. She's doing a few festivals, but yeah, she's very active on Instagram. So yeah, maybe go and check Grace Lightman out. So yeah. And like I say, that's a cover that grabs my attention all the time. And the final question is about your favourite final track on an album. So it's quite easy for me. So yeah, I've chosen Stone Roses. And the final track on this album is I Am the Resurrection. A lot of albums have got, you know, how you finish an album is pretty important, but when this album came out in '89, such an important album. I mean, really, this should be coming on the desert island with me, but you know, I'm leaving it behind, sadly. But my favourite last track on an album has to be I Am the Resurrection. Stone Roses, just one of my favourite bands, and the only problem is they didn't release enough, but this is a absolutely fantastic album, and I Am the Resurrection is easily my favourite final track. So that's my entry into Chris's contest. Like I say, I'm sure most people watching my video or aware of Chris, but maybe go and check his channel out. Chris Propfe, Musically Obsessed. Puts videos out all the time, good content, and yeah, it's great to have him on the VC. So that's it from me. If you've got any comments about anything I've showed, I'd love to hear from you. I always get back to you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and bye for now.